Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Player's Take, episode 76. I am your host, Justin DeSimone, joined by my co-hosts, my former Xbots, Montrell Rice, Tiara. How are you guys?
Wait, is that real?
Yeah, they call people, they used to call people Xbox stands, Xbots.
Yep. Like you're a robot for Xbox or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said my ex-boss.
Wow.
That's why I was like, oh, that actually happened?
Oh my god.
Oh, that's funny. That's good.
This girl here, man.
No, Montrell's not my former boss.
Because I was going to say, wow, that's news to me.
No, I was saying you're both former Xbots. You used to be Xbox
Yes.
stands, like Montrell said, and you're not anymore. So,
Yeah.
you know.
Yes.
But we'll get into that.
But I may be back on the train, though.
I know. I saw some of your tweets. Montrell's definitely not, though. Well, we're going to get into that because this is going to be an Xbox-centric episode. So, let's get into it.
World premiere.
This is
Right.
this is our world premiere. Yeah. The world premiere of Xbox's Game Showcase. This is our video game show, our weekly video game show. We talk about video games, video game news, and other topics pertaining to video games. We post 6 a.m. Central Time on Fridays on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, your favorite podcast app of choice. We also post 6 a.m. Central Time on Mondays on YouTube with an accompanying video of us playing some kind of video game. So, not sure if there's any purpose to it. Like, do people watch that while they're like listening to us? I don't know. I probably wouldn't, but you know, it's there because it's better than a static image. So,
Yep.
enjoy that. All right, enough of that. Let's just get into it. Let's start with what we've been playing. Who wants to go first? Can I do? Should I go first? I never go first. I'm going first. Fuck it.
Yes, you should go first.
I don't have much to say. I've been playing the same 2 games, Crosscode, Brigandine. I do want to talk about Crosscode a little bit more. I don't think because it's been so long since we recorded last. It's been like a week and a half. So I got through the first dungeon in Crosscode, and this game is Zelda. That's pretty much what I've learned about it, and it's fucking awesome. There's no question about that, but it's much more Zelda than like Secret of Mana, like what I was thinking originally. The first dungeon is literally like a Zelda dungeon. Like there's puzzle rooms and you have to get like keys to open doors, and there's like a boss room key that you have to find somewhere in the dungeon, and then there's like an item they give you like halfway through the dungeon that helps you finish the rest of the dungeon, you know?
Yeah.
That kind of thing. So yeah, it's basically like a sci-fi Zelda that has really, really, really good combat, you know, compared to Zelda. So yeah, this game is awesome. I've seen a few people on Twitter talking about picking it up, and they're really into it. So I'm glad this game's proliferating. God, I can't talk. Proliferating out there because this game definitely deserves it. It's cheap too. I think it's $20 to $25 on PSN and Switch. So check it out. I'm like, seriously, this is a really, really good game. Unique, very unique. Highly recommended for me. Also been playing more Brigandine. I finished my second nation run through, and I am on my third now. I'm obsessed with this game still. Yes.
Let's Plays coming soon. World premiere.
Yes, they are. I'm working through them. I've got like 7 recorded or something like that. They're gonna start posting next week at some point.
All right.
I will, when they do post, I'll let you guys know on the show. They'll probably be up before next week's episode is though. So that's my plan right now. But
Let me know so I can start blasting out the links on all social media platforms.
Yeah, don't worry. I'm gonna be blasting them out too. You know, I'm excited about this. I haven't done a Let's Play in a while. Like it's been like 4 or 5 years since I've done like a Let's Play on YouTube. So I'm really into it. I'm excited. I'm excited to get you guys in there. I want to interact with people. Let's show people Brigandine. Let's do it. All right, that's all I've been playing. So what have you guys been playing?
We both been playing Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, that's exactly what we've been playing. We've definitely both been playing Ghost of Tsushima.
I have it on the way, so it'll be here Saturday. So I'm gonna be playing that next week, I think.
You don't just buy games digitally?
Uh-oh.
No. We're poor. So we have to trade our games in sometimes to buy other games because we're poor. That's the thing we still do. You know?
I just like to collect them, so I have a physical version of Tsushima. So
Yeah, I just
wow.
I like having a
Both
physical
of you
game.
suck to be a game share partner. You would have
serious?
nothing to contribute.
Yeah, she just wants a game share. That's all. That's all she wants to do.
Are you kidding me? Sony doesn't even do that. So what does it matter?
Sony does. Sony game shares.
There's a way to game share with Sony. I don't have a game share partner for Sony though, but there's a way to do it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Shows what I know. I guess we should shut the podcast down since I didn't know that.
No, I've been having fun enjoying this game though.
Come on, don't lie to the people. You are fucking in on this game. You are a Ghost of Tsushima stan. Like,
I really enjoyed this game before I was rudely interrupted by a Bostonian. No, I really do like this game. This game is fucking dope. It's hard to believe sometimes when I'm playing this game that this was made by Western developers, because it has, not just because the game takes place in Japan, but because the gameplay is so different from like what a Western developer would do, as far as gameplay wise, in my opinion. I think the marketing for this game was fucking horrendous. Shame on Sony for marketing the way they market this game, because this game's fucking good. It looked like Assassin's Creed when we first saw it. It plays nothing like that game. I mean, there are stealth elements, yes, but the shit that you can do in this game, the choices you can make, as far as your approach to combat and shit like that, it's crazy. You feel like a samurai. It's just really fucking good. So I don't know what else to say without spoiling the game. But I mean, maybe Tiara can say a lot more than I can.
I would say go to Steam and see. What I do is, when a game is highly anticipated, I don't watch no trailers. None. Only time I watched a trailer was for Death Stranding, because for some reason you kept watching trailers and you still didn't know what the game was about. But I didn't watch any gameplay trailers on the Ghost of Tsushima. So all I saw was what was shown at E3, and then that was it. But I knew I wanted that game. So I had a fresh view coming into it. I wasn't like, oh, this game looked like Assassin's Creed. That's what y'all said. Yeah. Y'all said it looked like Assassin's Creed. I was just like, okay.
She's disowning us.
I know, right?
Way to distance yourself from us on the show.
The funny thing about Ghost of Tsushima is that, yes, there is a stealth element, but a lot of your fighting is up front.
Yeah.
Especially when you start off with a standoff, because you got to always start off with a standoff.
Yeah. That's a mechanic in the game.
That shit seems OP. Can I just say that? Like,
and it never gets fucking old.
It seems really overpowered though. Like,
no,
you just delete like 4 enemies. Like you just hit one button, you delete them.
No,
like,
it is OP. I'm not going to even lie to you. It is OP, but
but it looks fun.
But we play the game on hard mode, so whatever little advantage like we can get,
exactly. You're a real gamer.
No, like she's right, because like a mob of a mob of like, sometimes they'll throw a mob of like 7 to 8 people at you, and they will like,
and they're all really good fighters.
Yeah, and they don't do the whole Batman Arkham's
right.
Yeah, they don't do that. They come at you.
Exactly. They all come at you with their different fighting styles, so you constantly gotta be switching between the different fighting styles, like to fight the different enemies. A dude with a spear and a dude with a shield, 2 different fighting styles. You have to, switch to fight them. So you're constantly switching fighting styles. Sometimes you gotta back up. Maybe you gotta shoot an arrow. And then if niggas will shoot an arrow, oh sorry. That's sorry. If people are shooting arrows at you, then that's also something to worry about as well. So I always gotta take out the archers first, because they will mess you up. Like, did you see that video of that guy when they went into the area he wasn't supposed to go into, and they got shot by all them arrows? Yeah,
he got stuck in the air. It was crazy.
Yeah, that looked like, that looked like it was scripted almost. Like, you're not allowed to go to that part of the game.
Because it is. That's exactly what it is.
Okay.
Because the area unlocks through a main mission through the story.
Because he got machine gunned down. Like, it was insane. It was insanity. It was like an auto turret shooting arrows at him. Like,
yes, it is. So I will say, Ghost of Tsushima, like 11 out of 10. Like, I love that game.
I don't like the well, I can't say I don't like. I have been seeing some opinions, some contrarian opinions online, and some of them have been valid. But it was one I just want to briefly discuss real quick. I wanted y'all's opinion on it. We don't have to spend 10 minutes on it, but we maybe like 5. What's your opinion on this phrase? The male power fantasy, or the power male fantasy, or you don't have to put male, but the power fantasy. I feel like that phrase gets thrown around in a negative way a lot.
Yeah.
With majority of games, you never heard that before. When people say this game or this movie satisfy your power fantasy, or this anime satisfies your power fantasy. Yeah. I saw somebody throw it around with this game, and they were like, "Oh, well, this game's nothing but a Western power fantasy trash," and they were just going and saying like the game would look janky and all this other stuff like that, which I was just like mind blown. Oh, and they say it was a carbon ripoff of Horizon Zero Dawn. And
I saw this person.
Yeah,
I know what you're talking about.
But
I never played Horizon Zero Dawn.
It's nothing like Horizon Zero Dawn.
I'm pretty sure it's nothing like this. Like,
the only thing they have in common is Horizon Zero Dawn is open world, and they have arrows. Like they play completely different in my opinion. I mean, Horizon Zero Dawn is a good game, but it plays completely different from Ghost of Tsushima. But I do see that term thrown around a lot. I don't think it's a negative term. I just don't like when people use it in a negative. It's always using a negative connotation.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say that. Yeah, it's not a negative term, but it's used that way a lot to criticize games and media. And I'm gonna be honest here. This is an issue with video games for sure. I think most games are a power fantasy, like Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah.
In fact, it's just your main character's female, so everybody's okay with that. But to me, it's like unfortunately that's just the mode of games. That's the way games are. Is you're generally, if the game has combat, you're gonna get more powerful over the course of the game, and that is the power fantasy. Like, you're just dominating hordes and hordes of enemies.
But I don't think it's a power fantasy. Like,
well, that's what they call it.
Everybody wants to win in a game. Like,
that's what they call it, though. They call it a power fantasy. Like, that's your fantasy, is to be that powerful. I don't really necessarily, because the way they throw it around, right? They make it seem like you have some kind of deep psychology, whatever. Like your psyche is like really bad, and you just want to be dominating everything. It's like, nah, son, I just want to play a video game. Like, I don't really.
To go back to Ghost of Tsushima though, like, I will say a con of the game is it gets a lot of the side quests, the side things you do gets repetitive.
Yeah, that is one. Yeah.
Like, okay, like for instance, finding the foxes, right? That was cool the first like 3 or 4 times. Now after my like 15th fox, I'm kind of tired of chasing you around. Like,
yeah, well, is that because of the volume of them? Like, there's too many of the same thing.
Yes, and I mean it's for a lot, and it's for like a lot of things too. Climbing shrines, just different things. I think what's really cool though is what I do like on the flip side is writing haiku. That's a really cool aspect of the game. The scenery of the game.
Yeah. I do like the random encounters that you have throughout the game. When you just riding along, you got random encounters, and then if you say like an NPC that's taken hostage, they may give you a mission to go or something like that to go do.
Or unlock something on the map for you. Yeah.
So I mean, it's a lot of stuff to do in the game. A lot of the missions are repetitive, but I think for me that is a con to the game. But for me, I to keep it fresh, I kind of approach everything differently. I may approach like all stealth or all samurai, or I may do half and half, or whatever the case might be, just to like switch up everything. I mean, it suffers the same thing that every open world game suffers. Even The Witcher had this issue where some missions do get repetitive. But I mean, like some of the story content or the side story content is good, and then some of it is a miss. unlike with The Witcher, I feel like a lot of the side content was like really good as far as story wise.
No, it really was good.
Yeah, but with this game,
it felt like it had a purpose.
Yeah, with this game, it's like a hit or miss. Some of them are, and then some of them are like, I could have dealt without this. Like I didn't really care. So
I heard somebody describe The Witcher 3 side content in a really good way. It's side content that you want to do because it's good side content. It's not side content you feel obligated to do because you're trying to fill a checklist.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of open world games kind of fail at.
Yeah.
But it takes effort to get to The Witcher 3's level with their side content.
And I will say Ghost of Tsushima does that. It doesn't make me feel like I need to do the side content. I want to, but like I said, some of the payoff is not. I'll say 75% of the time the payoff is worth it, but there is that 25% stands out for me. Like I'm like, oh, I could have done without this. Like that's just my opinion, though.
Yeah.
I will also say another criticism I had was the lack of music. Like there are the way too many long periods of time you go in the game in complete silence. All you hear is your footsteps in the wind. And when the music is there, the soundtrack is really good. And I'm thinking to myself, why is there no music playing? Like that's awkward to me. It's kind of weird that they don't have music playing more often.
Yeah, I think they was doing that to try to set the mood and the tone of the whole video game. Like it's kind of like, you know how if you watch samurai movies and stuff like that, like that's what they kind of do in samurai movies. Like sometimes it goes long periods of like without music, and then when something really dramatic happens, then they add like, you know, the Japanese music and soundtrack in there and things of that nature. So I think he's trying to take away. It's like watching, if you watched a western, like an old western, because westerns do that, where they sometimes the cowboys just riding along and sometimes there's no music, and then sometimes there is like a little quiet music of the whistle, you know, the old cowboy whistle music or whatever. So that's what they're trying to do. But I can understand from a gamer's point of view, like I want to hear some music. But for me, I liked it because it kind of, I like samurai movies and stuff, like old school samurai movies. So this was like right up my alley. So that's why I liked it. But I definitely can see the other side of that.
Cool. Well, as I said, I'm getting the game this weekend. So we may do a spoiler cast on this game, depending. I don't know. I can never guarantee if I'm going to beat a game quickly or not. It depends if I'm into it, you know. So I'm gonna try.
No, well, this is not a game because Montrell. Remember we were talking about that the other day. We were like, "Dang, we don't did all this stuff in this game over the weekend, and we ain't nowhere. We still in Act 1."
Yeah, that's what scares me about it.
But now we're in Act 2. But
yeah, but that kind of terrifies me because I'm not
we were like, dang.
I generally don't binge games super hard. You know, I take it like piecemeal.
I feel like Ghost of Tsushima is a very short game if you just do the main quest, just straight through. Just do the main quest. That's it. It's a very short game.
It'll be a very short game.
I'm not that player. I'm not that player though.
You know,
this game will force you to do
side quests and stuff.
Yeah,
right.
This game will force you to do side quests, not because you have to, but because of the moves you unlock and everything like that.
Yeah,
like they show you little movies of all the moves you unlock, and a lot of them are really fucking cool. So
yeah. So I'll try to get through it quickly, but if I don't, maybe you guys can have a, you know, deep discussion about it without me. I guess I could probably join, but you know, I wouldn't be able to talk about everything. But anyways, yeah, so that game's pretty cool. Check it out. Let's move into the news. It's going to be a Microsoft show. The Player's Take Microsoft Edition. Because
world exclusive.
I hate that they do that still. I can't like dude, we fucking know that it's a world premiere, okay? We know. Like we know we've never seen this game before. Every game. I mean, we're going to get into it.
All right, let's go.
Get over it, Microsoft. All right, we're going to talk about some things outside of the game showcase before we get into that. So let's start with the announcement that the xCloud streaming service that it will be launching in September is going to be a part of Gamepass inherently when it launches. This was announced, I think, about a week ago, actually. Yeah, last week. And it's going to be added at no additional cost to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate members. So Xbox Game Pass Ultimate costs $10.99 a month, I think. And it has PC, console, and Xbox Live all wrapped into that monthly fee. So It's an insane deal what you're getting for that price, but you're going to be getting xCloud on top of this, which is going to be their streaming service. So they are really pushing Game Pass, and we're going to be talking about Game Pass a lot throughout this episode. But what do you guys think about this addition in Game Pass? Do you think this will really enrich it, or is this kind of a thing you don't care about? I mean, I assume Montrell doesn't because he hates streaming. But,
Well, the funny thing about it is I actually pay for the Game Pass, but I don't use it because I game with my PS4 a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the funny thing about it. But I would just never discontinue the Game Pass because I'm like, oh, what if I want to play something on Xbox? But I did like how all those games that they showed were going to be on the Game Pass because I was just like, wow, I don't have to worry about spending $70. I can just buy the Game Pass.
Yeah.
So with the Game Pass, you can download the game, right?
Yes, that's why it's so good.
Yeah.
Yes, it's the whole game.
Yeah,
For $10 a month, you get access to that whole entire catalog.
Obviously, Montrell, they don't have streaming as a part of it yet. They're adding it. I just said that.
Well, I mean, I thought they said something about you can stream it right now from your PC or whatever without the xCloud.
I don't think so.
Whoa. Thunder and lightning.
Yes. Yes.
Did it just start storming?
Yeah.
That was epic as fuck.
Yes.
It's like xCloud.
I thought you were playing like a sound effect.
No, that is thunder outside
of my
window.
That was actually
awesome.
really good. Yeah.
That was awesome. That sounded sick.
Wow.
Man, that derailed our train of thought. But okay, anyways, back to Game Pass. So I think xCloud getting added to it is, I mean, they're just adding value to this service. It's kind of crazy how much they're really pushing this now. And I do think they're going to be, this seems to be the focal point of their strategy is Game Pass to me. Like I mean, we're going to get into it like when we talk about the showcase, but I'm starting to feel like they don't necessarily care about their console selling that much, you know? That's the kind of feeling I'm getting because think about it, right? You've got Game Pass, right? And you've got this on PC and Xbox.
Yeah.
And you're like Tiara just said, every game they showed in the Xbox Game Showcase is coming to Game Pass. That includes Halo Infinite. They're like one of their biggest IPs, you know? That's coming to Game Pass day one. There's no delay on it. The second it comes out, if you have Game Pass, you can play Halo Infinite. Like, that is nuts. That is the equivalent of Sony having The Last of Us on The Last of Us 2 or something like that, or Ghost of Tsushima on a similar service. Like, that is nuts, dude.
What's that, PlayStation Now?
Which they don't have it on PlayStation Now. So and they're never going to do that, which is why this is such an interesting strategy from Xbox and why I think they really see this as their future, I think.
Well, first party games are always available on Game Pass. That's why I bought it, to be honest.
I know, but it's crazy they're continuing to do that even with the big hitters, because it was like when you're saying like Sea of Thieves is going to be on Game Pass or Crackdown 3 is going to be on Game Pass, that's one thing. Like, who gives a shit? Okay, great. Those games, like, whatever. Like, they're not that big of a deal. But when you start talking about Halo, Gears, Forza, you know, like those are the big hitters that Xbox has.
Well, the fact that Halo is back on PC now, like Halo 3 is back on PC, Halo 2, and you start seeing more streamers playing Halo now because it's on PC and things of that nature. It just makes sense. Like, people have been asking for Halo to be back on PC, and now people are taking advantage of that.
Well,
So I mean, I saw a tweet that actually was dated a couple years ago that said, yeah, Xbox, or they said that it's not going to be about platforms or consoles. It's going to be about the ecosystem. And I think Xbox is really trying to turn themselves into the next Steam. I don't think, or like Epic.
No,
I think
Xbox mind, the reason why they can use the word exclusive and have Xbox and PC is because in their mind, they make Windows. They make the software for PC.
Yeah.
So it's still all Microsoft. It doesn't matter if it's a PC or if it's an Xbox. It's still all Microsoft. So that's why they use the term exclusive, and they're correct.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where a lot of people are getting confused, in my opinion.
But people like, oh, well, how can it be an exclusive if it's coming out on PC? Because everything PC is Microsoft. That's why.
Yeah, and even though like Horizon Zero Dawn is coming to Steam, that even though it's on PC and I guess that you gotta use a Windows platform or you can use a Linux based platform, whatever. Like it still doesn't have the same impact as like Microsoft. Like I said, I think Microsoft is trying to like come at Steam. I think they're trying to come at like the Epic Game Store. I think they're trying to come at all that stuff because I think eventually they're going to put their stuff on other consoles. And I think that's why a couple months, like a year ago, we had that little weird blurb about Xbox, Nintendo, Switch, something, and we never heard anything else from it.
That was like a year ago.
Yeah, it was like a year ago, and we never heard anything else from it. But I saw the writing on the wall then. I'm like, I think Xbox is trying to branch out from being just Xbox. Like I think they're trying to be.
They want to be a publisher.
I mean, they already done that. They've already done that with Windows 10. That was the point of the Xbox app. Like that was the point of the game Quantum Break. Like they already did.
The thing
that.
is, those things haven't worked. Like they're trying a different approach here, and Game Pass is, I think, the vehicle through which that approach is being driven. And to me, like their games, I think Montrell's right. I think you were going to start seeing their games on PlayStation at some point in the future, and it might not be that
their first party games.
Yes.
No.
Yes. No, I think they will. They've already talked. This was years ago, by the way. They already thought about putting Halo on PlayStation. They didn't do it, but they were thinking about it. And this was like 5-6 years ago before like Master Chief Collection came out, And I think that is indicative of where their mindset was then. And they're moving their way there because they're just not the way they're trying to sell this console just doesn't. Like they're doing the thing where they're like, oh, we're the most powerful. We're going to have the best exclusives. And like, that's not really, they don't have the games like that. We're going to get into the specific games they talked about, but I just don't think they have the lineup that's going to compete with Sony's in this next generation. And I think they know that. And I think they're okay with that because they're going to beat Sony in the services game, which is what Game Pass is. Like Game Pass is better than any service that Sony offers. It's not even close. It's like literally not anywhere even in the same stratosphere, in my opinion. Game Pass is the best value in gaming. There's like no question about that. What you're getting for your money is insane,
I would say that, last week I was like, well, I just expected Microsoft to drop the ball because that's just what they do. They always drop the ball. And I expected that, earlier today. When I saw Halo, I was like, oh my God, like, of course, Microsoft keeps relying on Halo. Like this is like the tone that is going to be for the rest of the day. Like Microsoft is not going to do anything that's going to surprise me. I knew I was going to be right, but then I was wrong, and I was actually pleasantly surprised. Like I was like, Microsoft is going to have to do a lot, in order to bring people from Sony to there, because remember I said last week, I was just like, there's no game that's gonna make me get this, like how I got a PS4. I was like, there's no game that's gonna make me do this. But now with what Microsoft is doing with the Game Pass, and then with you buying a game and it doesn't matter which system you have it on, you can always have it. Whereas if I bought a game on PS4, I gotta buy that game again on PS5. Yeah. So that's crazy. So Microsoft is doing all these things, all of these incentives to buy a Series X. And then with the games that they showed, I was sold. I was like, wow.
But the key pitfall is that the games are on PC as well. And that's what's going to make me not get a Series X. Because some of the games they showed, if they were on Series X only, I might get the console for them. But the fact that they're going to be on PC, I'm not getting this device probably.
Well, I get that.
That's my point about their strategy. I don't think they care. If I buy their game on PC, that's a win for them because consoles, and this is something that I think a lot of gamers don't understand, is that hardware is not where the money is made.
Software is
in consoles. It's software. It's always been software. And because like famously, Sony sold the PS3 at a loss when it launched. That thing cost $600 and they were selling it at a loss. Like that's but they were doing fine. They ended up doing fine that generation. Like it didn't matter ultimately. Because the software is where they make their money, and they've always made their money there. And Microsoft knows that, of course, being a hardware manufacturer. I don't think they care about selling consoles that much. Like they're going to have one, but I have a feeling this might be the last generation we really have an Xbox console. This could be the end, depending on how things evolve on the front of Game Pass and whatnot. I think they're trying to build like a Netflix of gaming kind of platform with Game Pass because it's so cheap right now. Everyone's getting into it. Imagine Tiara, for instance, right? They start doing the Netflix thing where they raise it a couple bucks every 6 months, right? Are you going to cancel?
Probably not, honestly.
The value's so good.
Because
right?
It's still good.
Exactly. That's exactly what Netflix did, right? The value in Netflix is insane. So as they raise prices, nobody cares because the value's so good. We all know it. We've used it, So I think that's what Microsoft's doing with Game Pass.
I mean, I'm doing. If you go through Netflix catalog, like their originals alone, they have so many titles.
Yep.
Like it's insane.
Yep.
You know what? I didn't even think about that. Because I was wondering. I'm like,
the value of Netflix is crazy. That's why, like you said, if you still raise it a couple bucks, and it's still the value is still good.
Even if it's on one even if it's one console left, like, and everyone has a streaming service or a Game Pass service where you can download it onto that said console or whatever.
Yep.
Let's say it will be what platform you want to be on. Like if you got the PlayStation Now / whatever they call it, and you can download or stream, or if Nintendo does that too, like you'll be competing. It'll be streaming services now that are competing, not platform, not console or hardware. So that's an interesting thought. It will be about ecosystem. So maybe the next 5
getting a head start.
Yeah, Xbox is already getting a head start. I mean, they did this. Let's be honest. I'm gonna be completely 100% honest. They did it this generation. They took the hit, but they did it this generation. When everybody, and even if it was me, I was on the train too because I didn't like the way they advertised the Xbox One, but they knew that people were been using consoles for like everything. And the way they marketed the Xbox was like for that TV shit. Like I use my Xbox for like TV, and I get annoyed when I'm playing like my PS4 or something like that, and like their interface is just not designed for accessibility. It's just not. It's just games and everything. But when I'm playing video games on my Xbox, it's just so cool to be like, all right, I'm done playing video games. I'm gonna go to Netflix. All right, I'm done playing Netflix. I'm gonna go to HBO. Like their interface is just so user friendly. Okay, I'm done watching HBO. I want to go watch Twitch now. Like I can. It's so like boom boom snappy, boom boom bam. Like they were ahead of that shit. And because now people want like Netflix on the Switch, and they want Netflix on everything, and Switch doesn't even have Netflix yet. And like I said, it's really laggy and glitchy. I hate watching movies and stuff on my PlayStation 4. I fucking hate it. I use that exclusively for gaming. But like my Xbox, I use it for a multimedia thing. Yeah, sometimes I play music off of it. Sometimes I play my games off of it. And then sometimes I watch TV off of it. And they were kind of ahead of that curve before everybody else, in my opinion.
Also, you have to understand that, yes, PC gaming is a thing, but people also like consoles. There are people who do not like PC gaming.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Well,
series...
yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, so the Series X, like for instance, I don't have a desktop.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, my laptop is broke, so for me, I would get the Series X, and then the console is, just as powerful as a PC.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think on that front, they have another strategy, because you know how this generation we had the mid-generation kind of upgrade with the PlayStation 4 Pro and the Xbox One X. I have a feeling Xbox is going to try that again, and I think we're going to get multiple mid-generation upgrades, because I think they're trying to, because there's a rumor going around that there's a smaller price point or a lower price point Xbox coming out that's going to come out with the Series X, and it's going to be like $300 or $400, and it's going to have a lower power, but it's going to be able to play Series X games. And what that, to me, if that's true, that means to me they're trying to create an ecosystem that is similar to PC. It's got obviously a lot less variables in it with hardware, but you're creating an ecosystem where you have two different SKUs you have to develop games for. And man, that is ominous, that thunder. Oh my gosh. And with that, if that's true, if you're already doing two, what's going to be the difference between doing 3? Because if you're doing 2, you already have to make your games with like graphical sliders for each one, right? And adding a third one in there, if it's in, say, like you'll have it in the middle now, the original Xbox Series X will be in the middle, and then you'll have one that's more powerful. I don't think it will be that much of a stretch for developers, you know?
Yeah.
Because if you make a game on PC, you have graphical sliders already. It's a thing you do anyways. So, and if all these games are going to be on PC and Xbox Series X, then you've already done that for PC. So it's not really that much effort, in my opinion, to have a third SKU you'd need to make the games for. So to me, I think they're much more equipped because of the ecosystem they're building and having mid-generation upgrades versus Sony, where they're going to have a much harder sell because people have a single console and that's what they expect. You know, the Pro did take off eventually, but it was so weird and hackneyed the way it was kind of implemented in this generation that I don't think Sony's equipped to do that very well. And I just think Xbox has a better ecosystem for that kind of thing. So I think that might be part of their strategy as well. I wouldn't be surprised by that. In a few years, like 2 or 3 years, we hear about it, like a new Xbox Series, you know, Y or whatever. That's like even more powerful than the Series X. So, well, on top of this, to kind of lend further credence to my theory that Game Pass is what they want their future to be, Microsoft stopped offering, and this is already live, they stopped offering 1-year Xbox Live memberships this past week. So you can only buy the 1 month and 3 month versions of Xbox Live now, and that's already a thing. They cut that immediately the second this was announced, pretty much. So that change to me means that they want to sell Xbox Game Pass Ultimate to people because they're going to make more money off that than they make off the 12-month Xbox Live memberships, right? Because it's $11 a month times 12 is $132, right? Is that right?
Yeah.
I got that right. 132. God, trying to do math on the fly. Yeah, so $132. That's over double what the Xbox Live membership is for 12 months. So they would much rather make that money, and I think that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to push people towards that, because eventually, think about it, right? They're going to cut the 3 month at some point, and then you're only going to have the month. And say what's the month cost? Isn't it $10 for a month of Xbox Live? Yeah. So why not just pay the extra buck, you know, for the Game Pass? It's like you'd be stupid not to do that. So I kind of think that's another notch in that they really, like, Game Pass is it for them. Like, that is their main focus. Everything they've been doing lately is just push towards that. I mean, does it piss you guys off that they got rid of the 12-month Xbox Live membership? Because if Sony did that with PS Plus, I would fucking rage. You know, I would be extremely upset.
Well, I was gonna be. There was a rumor going that Microsoft was gonna make Xbox Live free. That was gonna make me mad because, see, I have Xbox Live Gold. I have that a couple years in advance.
Okay. Yeah.
So like
buy it on sale or whatever, right?
Well, I have friends that work at Microsoft, so they give it to me.
I see.
For the low. So I have a couple years in advance. So if they was gonna cut that out and it was gonna be free, I was gonna be kind of mad.
Yeah.
But because I have it in advance, I just pay for the Game Pass, so I automatically have Xbox Ultimate.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's definitely a good deal. Like, for the Game Pass alone, I think Microsoft, you know, that's a good strategy by them. I really hope they stick with it.
I agree. Because I just don't think they're not going to beat Sony at the pure console experience. Right. Like, Sony really has that down, you know, and they have the games to back it up, you know, the exclusives to back it up. Right. So, and Xbox.
But we're talking about games becoming $70 next gen.
Yep.
And I don't have to pay 70, and I can literally just pay for Xbox, you know,
$132 a year.
Yeah.
That's less than 2 games.
Right.
Yeah, this is really going to be like
for that a reason alone.
Yeah, this is really going to be like beneficial for younger gamers, like people who don't really have that much money. 10-year-olds,
oh my god,
all the way up to like 18-year-olds who are still in high school and even in college too. Like, I will want to get a PlayStation 5, and I may buy one, but I'm in college, I want to play games now. Like I can just pay $10 a month from my little college job and get everything, or $11 a month and get everything on my Xbox Series X. And I can't play the exclusives, but I can just play that when I get an actual job when I get out of college, and I can go back and buy them because they're probably going to be cheaper. So I mean, it's a win-win for everybody, to be honest with you. So
yeah. And like, how jealous are you guys of the kids today that get to grow up with this shit? Like $10 back in the day wouldn't buy you a game, period. Like you wouldn't be able to buy any game for $10.
Yeah.
And it's like you'd spend like 3 months of your allowance on one fucking game, and you'd have to make that last for the next 3 months.
Yeah.
Kids can spend $10 a month or $11 a month, and they have hundreds of games available to them to play. Like,
not to mention free to play games and all this other stuff like that. So all the parent will have to do is invest into the console, and then on top of that, let's say you are like 11 or 12, whatever. Let's say if you live in north somewhere, like, all right, I'm just gonna go shovel some snow for about $5 or $10 at the neighbor's house, neighbors down the street houses, and then I have my Xbox Live Gamepass paid for that month, and I can play hundreds of games for that month.
Yeah.
Like all you gotta do is get a summer job or an under the table job somewhere, and you have what you want. So it's crazy. That's crazy to me.
Yeah. All right, moving on. One more story before we get to the games showcase. They confirmed along with the news that they're not offering Xbox Live memberships anymore. That the Xbox One X and the Xbox One S, all digital, are being discontinued. This has already been confirmed by Microsoft. Not a big surprise. This generation has been bad for Microsoft, but it's just so funny to see the different places these two companies are, because Sony, they're not going to discontinue the PS4 for probably 2 more years at least.
You don't think so?
Nah, man. Dude, they didn't discontinue the PS2 until, I want to say, 2012 or something like that.
Oh yeah, you know what? You're right. That was a dumb
PS3
question.
was I think it was like 2015. They didn't discontinue that until then, and that's like 2 years after the PS4 came out. So, Sony's always had a longer tail with their consoles after the next one comes out. They've tended to, for sure. So, not surprised by this. It just noteworthy news for sure. Does it make you sad that they're discontinuing it?
No,
I mean,
not really.
So they're gonna discontinue it when?
Oh, it's already discontinued.
Oh, they're no longer making any Xbox One X's as of now?
Yep.
Whatever's out there is out there.
Wow. That's such a bold move by Microsoft. Considering that in the console wars, Sony has been winning as of late. It's like everybody's for sure gonna get the PS5. A sure thing. People are unsure about the Xbox, but Microsoft is so sure of the Series X that they're like, we're not going to even make the One X anymore. Like the One X is so, like literally, like the One X is kind of new. It hasn't even been.
It'll be 3 years old in November.
Right, but it hasn't even been like the I feel like the 360 was like what 10 years. Like it had a long shelf life. But I'm saying that so compared to that, like the One X is still like relatively kind of new. Yeah. So it's like for Microsoft to be like, oh, we're not making this like as of today. Like that's such a bold thing.
Well, I do want to note the Xbox One S, not the one that has a disk drive, is still in production.
Okay.
So it's not all Xbox Ones, but the ones on basically the highest end one and the lowest end one are getting discontinued. So the ones they would probably call niche.
But that's so like bold. I respect it. I think it's for me what I need to see from Microsoft, them standing behind something.
Yeah. I mean, I look at it more as like kind of like almost like it's like bookkeeping to me. Like this is just I feel like this was coming no matter what. It was going to happen before the console came out because they got kind of beat so bad this generation, Well,
on top of that, if you think about it, if I'm investing into the ecosystem or whatever, like if I'm a new person, I don't have to go back and buy the old console to experience their old games. I can just buy the current console and play all their games, even some of the games from the first generation Xbox all the way up till now. So
that does lend credence to Tiara's point. I think that they're like so confident in the Series X. They're like, what? You don't need an Xbox One. Like, you know, the Series X can play all those games. So, you know.
Yeah.
And then they're getting upscaled for the Series X.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I just think it's so funny though, because it's so not like Microsoft. I'm happy that they're like changing their tune.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I think that they're offering the right incentives, the ones that people actually care about.
Yeah.
So at first I thought, you know, when the next gen gets released, I was like, oh, sure, you know, PlayStation sales are gonna like. Now I'm not sure. It could be an even race now.
Yeah,
Microsoft got some game changers.
I don't know. I'm still not sold on that idea. We'll see. All right, let's get into the showcase, because that is really the thing that's probably going to push consoles more than anything. Man, this thunder is just like coming in like right at the perfect time, you know, right into the game's showcase story. It's like really ominous, you know. So let's just jump right into it. First thing they showed was Halo Infinite. What did you guys think of this gameplay that they showed?
I was upset. I ain't gonna hold you. Okay, so I wasn't upset at the gameplay. I was just upset at the fact that the first thing that you show is Halo. Like, I was looking for, you know, innovation with, you know, Microsoft. What are you gonna do like Sony with these unique exclusives? What are you gonna be your unique exclusives for the Series X? That's what I was looking for. So I was looking for them to open up with something I'd never seen before. And then what I get? Halo. Like, I just feel like they just rely on Halo so much. It's like a crutch. Like, let Halo go. It's okay. Retire the franchise.
They're never gonna retire the franchise.
Okay.
Master Chief is just, I can honestly say now, Master Chief is just as iconic as Mario and Sonic. Like, he's up there.
Oh my god. It is like Nintendo. Like, just
they're never gonna retire Mario.
Never.
Move on.
Never. Mario is Nintendo.
Yeah.
Like, never.
Master Chief is Xbox.
Exactly. I was gonna say the same thing. Master Chief is Xbox. Like,
yeah. So.
Well, I say, okay. Well, to the actual gameplay, I thought the gameplay was really good, and everybody was like, "Oh, it's Halo open world," but I didn't get that. I didn't get that from Halo Infinite.
Well,
to me, it looked like playing any other Halo game. Like,
it did. But
so
people,
it didn't look open world to me, so I didn't know where you got that from. Maybe I'm just tripping.
Well, that didn't come out until after, like the details didn't come out until after like the whole stream was over. They start posting the details of Halo Infinite and why it's called Infinite, and it's going to have a day and night cycle. It's going to be completely open world. You can pick up items on the world and upgrade them. I think you're going to have skills and stuff like that. Like, it's going to be.
It sounds kind of like Destiny.
Yeah, probably. Speaking of Destiny, that's later on, but.
Yeah. Well, they didn't say it was an online game, so it looks like it has a campaign.
Yeah,
like
I think it's going to be a single player campaign experience.
But they did interestingly say after the fact that there won't be a Halo Infinite 2. Like, this is a game that they're going to build on, they said. So that does indicate there's something there in terms of retaining players. Yeah, that I don't know. They didn't elaborate beyond that.
It sounds like they just gonna.
Let me tell you, that would be so fire though. If it was a Halo MMO, wow, that would be amazing.
Do y'all remember that rumor that they was supposed to make a Halo MMO? Like years ago.
I never heard that rumor.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
I really wish
that was like years and years ago. They were supposed to make some kind of Halo open world MMO type situation, but it never came to fruition because they never got the kinks out. But I mean, I think Halo Infinite, I think they're going to continuously add campaigns onto it, and then you gotta buy into the DLC if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So that I mean, for me, it was just like same old Halo. Like, it looks good at 60 frames. You know what I'm saying? I like that. But I also play Halo 5, so I've been used to the 60 frames. A lot of people didn't buy Halo 5, so. I was like, oh, this looks good. I mean, but it's still same old Halo. I will say though, I wasn't impressed with some of the graphics. Like when they were showing the brute talk at the end, that shit looked like an Xbox 360 game. I was not impressed.
Well, I wanted to comment on that because that was something I was going to say. Is the game, like you said, the game, like this looks like Halo, and I just think this is an aesthetic Halo goes for.
Yeah.
That it's very sterile looking. Like there isn't a lot of like blood splatter and particle effects like that. It's like it feels like it looks really clean, you know?
Yeah.
Like the game, everything looks clean. All the boxes they're not like disrupted in any way. They don't look like they've been like the world doesn't look lived in, you know, like some other games do. Like I know that's like kind of the look they're going for, but like you said, it does kind of not look good at times.
I'm
this
sorry.
thunderstorm is killing me. My God, it sounds like your house is about to get destroyed. Yeah, I don't know. It's just like, so I think graphically, yeah, I wasn't like really impressed with it. I was like, I don't like this. Doesn't look. It's like a stylistic choice, but it just doesn't look great.
Yeah,
you know?
I think it's more of a stylistic approach to it. I guess since it is a Halo ring, technically stuff wouldn't be worn down because it's like an artificial world. So
that's true.
I think that's the look they're going for. And I think on top of that, with Halo in general, they go with that clean aesthetic look because of the first game. Like the first game had those smooth jaggies and everything of that nature, but we don't know if that was due to limitations of the hardware or if that was like the art style of the game. But that had just transpired throughout all the games. Like everything looked clean.
Yeah.
I was expecting the game to look like the Halo 2 anniversary cutscenes, like how it was like the I don't know if y'all saw them, but like the cutscenes in the Halo 2 anniversary were like completely redone, and they look fucking amazing. And that's what I was kind of waiting for this game. But it looks like they just took the clean approach to it, and I think they're just going to focus on building the open world, putting all the power into the world and enemies on screen and everything of that nature. So I mean, if they do that, then I mean, I can't complain about that. That's like better gameplay, I guess.
Yeah, and that's the thing about this to me. That the thing, because I did actually get the open world feeling out of it when they were showing it. When they opened the map, and I was like, oh shit, like you can go to a lot of places in this. Like this is not a small linear game, you know. And the thing to me is like it made me think about back when I was younger and I played the first Halo with my brother back in the day.
Yep.
And this is exactly what I wanted out of like Halo 2, you know. I wanted it to be able to just like fucking explore the ring, you know, because I find the like in Halo there's nothing more fascinating than the rings, the Halo rings to me. Like I can't like I don't like I find Covenant, Flood, all that shit, whatever. Like that their war is whatever is not like super interesting to me, but the Halo rings, I think that shit is like extremely intriguing, you know. And I just love the concept of them, you know, like the idea that there's different like climates within the ring and it's like different topologies and stuff. It's like I find that fascinating, and the idea that I could just explore that is really enticing to me. Like it to the point where I might try this game. You know, I don't really give a shit about Halo 4, Halo 5. Like those games didn't appeal to me at all. But this, like as a concept, kind of does appeal to me a little bit more. Even the issues I had with the graphics notwithstanding, and even the gameplay, like it like looked like it's weird with Halo. Like it you know, I know they added like a grappling hook and like sprint and stuff, and it's like I'm sure those things will change up gameplay, but man, this just looks like Halo, you know, even Halo 1 or Halo 2. It doesn't really look that different from them in terms of the way it plays. You know, and maybe that's a good thing for people, but this is like the sixth mainline game, you know?
Yeah, I would have been upset they changed it, honestly. Like, just leave it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like,
fair enough. Yeah. Well, it is still confirmed for holiday 2020. They didn't put a date on it, but they did put holiday 2020 on it, so it should be coming out this year. I would anticipate whatever the launch date for the console is. I think that's why they didn't show the release date, because it would probably just tell them people what the console's release date is. Because I assume this is going to be a day one game for the Series X. So, any other thoughts on it you guys had before we move on?
No.
No.
All right, fair enough. Next thing was Phil Spencer came out and said that every game shown here in this game showcase is going to be on Game Pass the second they come out. So that was a flex, in my opinion. That was like Xbox's flex. Like that was kind of a big deal to me, because not all these games are Xbox exclusives. So that was kind of cool. So the next thing they showed was Forza Motorsport. Or actually no, they showed a brief cinematic trailer of State of Decay 3.
Yes. I was hyped for that. That had me hyped.
Yeah.
Even though State of Decay 2, from what I hear, I didn't play it, but Tiara told me, and then another person told me that it wasn't the best. I love State of Decay 1 though. State of Decay 1. I love that.
Did you say State of the Cake?
State of the Cake.
Hell, man.
That
Hell
cake
yeah, man.
meme is still in my mind. But I love State of Decay 1. I love the concept of like managing my party, my home base, and then you got to go out and scavenge for food, and then you got to send other people out to scavenge for food and stuff like that. And then just the whole idea of like even the people you send out, you would think like it's just like a random like timer, but when you go out and you send it to an area, you can see your NPC fighting other zombies and scavenging.
No, yeah.
And it's crazy. Like, and then you can sometimes see them die. Like, it's crazy. Like that.
You can choose to help them out.
Yeah, State of Decay was just like such a mind blowing game as far as like managing resources and like sending NPCs out to do work and stuff like that. Because like I said, you know how other games you send them out and it's like a little timer over their name, or they may go out, they show a cinematic of the person going out to scavenge, but nothing really happens to them in the open world. Where like when you do that in State of Decay, the world, depending on what you do, like if you lead a horde back to where they're scavenging, like they will be there scavenging and they'll help you fight, and then they'll go back to base or whatever if they live. So it's just crazy. That game was crazy to me. It was mind blowing. Especially like it was around the time Walking Dead was at its peak as well. And State of Decay 2, I didn't play that, but I'm assuming now that Microsoft is like making this one of their AAA studios, like I'm expecting this game to be fucking crazy, like some crazy shit to pop off.
I am surprised this third one got announced. This was a surprise to me because I know the second one did not do well. It was not well received.
Yeah.
So this is kind of their do-over, I guess. And I don't know, Tiara, like maybe you can elaborate on this. Did the second game kind of get away from what the first game did that Montrell was talking about that was like so cool and interesting?
I would say, okay, so when the trailer first started playing, I thought to myself, okay, wow, this is a new Xbox exclusive, right? I was like, okay, she's out in the woods by herself. Okay, nobody really does that, especially because she's black. Okay, this must be post-apocalyptic settings. Okay, cool. Then it was the deer with the zombie face. Okay, cool. And then at the end, when they announced that was State of Decay 3, I was like mind blown because I played State of Decay 2. And I played State of Decay 1. I love State of Decay 1, so I was very excited for State of Decay 2. State of Decay 2 is a disappointment, to say the least.
Mm-hmm.
I was just happy I didn't pay money for the game. I got it through Gamepass, so I was kind of happy with that. But State of Decay 3 just like revitalized my faith. It like literally just revitalized my faith into the series. So I was just like, wow. Like, it's going to be on Game Pass. I don't have to buy it. Mm-hmm. But if it was not on Game Pass, I would still buy that game. Like, I was really impressed. I was really impressed with it. Hopefully, it wasn't just a show. How sometimes
they didn't show any gameplay.
Gameplay, right?
It was just a cinematic trailer. So they got Tiara. They got Tiara wrapped around their finger.
They got me hooked already. So hopefully they don't crush my soul because I feel like that's what happened with State of Decay 2.
Now they didn't put any kind of date or window on this one. I don't think. Right? Did they even say 2021 or
no? I did. I thought they said that all the games. 7 of the games they showed are going to be released, or he did say like these are going to be opening titles with the Series X at the end of the whole thing. So that's what I thought he said, but I may have heard that wrong.
Yeah, but they didn't. They would have specified those. I feel like because this game I don't remember there being any kind of date range on it. So we'll see, I guess. But because this is the first announcement for this game, so that's something they didn't do well in this conference. I feel like is like. Or this video is like really showing like when these games are coming out. A lot of them we're kind of like
in
here's
lack
the game,
of gameplay.
And so
Yeah, the lack of gameplay is what got me. Like,
Yep.
I really wanted to see more gameplay from these games.
I'm gonna be harping on that as we go, because that was definitely a theme throughout as well. I think that's why they opened with Halo Infinite, because they had gameplay for that game, ready to go. So after that they showed a brief trailer of Forza, the new Forza game, which again, no gameplay. It was just a cinematic trailer, and it looked gorgeous, but
it was in engine. Let's not be disingenuous there.
I will say, I do want to give them credit on this, is that I couldn't tell before they said it was in engine
that it was in engine. That should look real.
It did look real, because it was video of like what looked like a development studio or something like that, or like a photo shoot studio. So I was like that could very easily be them showing like the studio making the game, and they're like taking pictures of cars and shit, but it definitely looked really, really good. Like graphically looked really, really good, but no gameplay once again. So they also didn't give a window for this one either, I don't think. So I don't think this is coming this year. I think this might be next year. But we'll probably find out about that as well. They usually like to release those in October, I think, generally. So and then after that, Rare came out and showed Everwild. This was another one that had no gameplay. It was another cinematic trailer, but this was a, I guess, interesting one. What did you guys think of this? It was more of a kind of a weird, like, fantasy world. I don't even want to say fantasy, because that
it's like not
medieval. It's like
not
more
fantasy. I mean, like a spiritual type game.
Yeah, that's a good
mystic.
Like,
that's the word we're looking for. Mystic type game. I looked at it and I got instantly annoyed, because I remember the studio Rare used to be, and it's like they used to have GoldenEye, Perfect Dark, Conker's Bad Fur Day, Banjo-Kazooie, like.
My ex used to love Conker's Bad Fur Day.
I loved it too. That shit was funny as hell. All these games that were like really good, and I see Everwild and I just don't see the talent. Like, I'm sorry, and that's really bad to say, but I don't see it. When I watched the trailer, I was just like, this looks cool. Like, it looked like a trailer for like a cartoon that's coming out or something. I'm like, is this a cartoon coming out? Like, it would have been a dope series to watch, but do I want to play in this world? Like, I don't think so, unless we're going to be doing crazy stuff. And that's another thing. The trailer is like not indicative of what the game is at all. Like, usually trailers are like, oh, okay, I'm going to be like a badass soldier, or I'm going to be like, we State of Decay. We obviously knew what we're going to be doing, right? We saw a woman in the forest hunting a zombie deer. Like, we knew what that was about. And then State of Decay popped up. Even if you didn't know what State of Decay is, you knew from that trailer, I'm going to be hunting some kind of zombies. I don't know what the fuck I'm going to be doing at Everwild. What am I going to be doing? The name is not even. And then the lady describing Everwild, it's just so like, it's annoying. Like, I just hate when games are like that. They just don't tell you anything.
They're vague. Yeah,
very vague.
It was a vague trailer. It was a very vague trailer. I have no idea what the game's about. And I think this is the one to me that made me think about, like, Sony would never have an exclusive like this, and like of this level is kind of what I mean, like they don't have games that are like mid like this, because that's my feeling on it.
It was mid.
I wouldn't even personally. It looks less than mid, but that's just a personal point. Like, in terms of the game and what it looks like and the graphics and the concept, like, it just kind of looks mid to me, and like, I feel like Sony doesn't really have that,
the game trailers they showed, right? Remember the game trailer with it looks like somebody out of Avatar, but she had a bow and arrow.
Yes,
and then,
yes,
yeah,
that's exactly the game I was thinking of too, man. And I was like, that looks way better than this,
because
like,
you know why? They showed fucking gameplay.
yes. I have a vague idea what that game is.
Exactly. So I mean, and then on top of that, right? That was being made by an indie studio, I want to say, or like a double A studio.
This is rare.
Like, and that's why I would put in my tweet. I like a lot of these games as we go through the list. Some of these games that are made by triple A developers are like double A, or I don't hate on AA, but this looked like a legit indie game. I'm like,
that was what I was getting at. Like, they're not gonna have Naughty Dog come out and like show an indie-esque game. They don't do that. Like, Sony doesn't do that, you know. Even like their lesser studios like Bend doesn't, like, they don't make a game that looks like an indie game, you know, or like even a AA game, you know. Like, they're all AAA. You know, that's what their exclusives are. You know, that's what they make. So, I mean, maybe that's fine that Microsoft's doing this, but for me, it just this is the game where this is the game where this like video started to fall off for me. I was like, oh man, dude, like this is who's getting excited about this? I'm sure it has an audience, but like, you know, like this isn't moving units. This isn't going to sell Game Pass. Like, I don't know what the point of this game is in Microsoft's portfolio. You know, I don't know. I mean, Tiara, what did you think? Did you get anything out of this game more than we did?
No, I don't have anything else to add. Honestly, I feel like you both said it all.
Yeah. Okay.
Like,
fair enough. So we're not being too mean about it. Like, I mean, I'm not trying to be mean, but you know, it is what it is. It's how I feel.
It's the vibes, man. The magical forest vibes.
Right. All right, let's move on to the next one. They showed Don't Nod's next game, which is another episodic game in the vein of their last ones. Oh my God, why am I blanking on the name? Life is Strange 1 and 2. And it's called Tell Me Why, and it is about a trans man and his sister revisiting their childhood hometown to come to terms with their past, which has something to do with their mother, from what the trailer showed. It looked it looked fairly interesting to me, but we talked about this. This is like that Telltale style of game. Mm-hmm. Like, I would never play this when it comes out on August 27th because you're going to get 1/5 of the game on August 27th.
Right.
I just looked at this people's portfolio, and they made one of it wasn't my favorite game, but I liked it a lot. They made Remember Me, that beat 'em up game I was talking about like a couple of podcasts ago. I didn't know they made that game. And I like that game. Why won't they go back to that game? Like, that's a good game. I just don't like these somebody call them fake deep video games.
Oh yeah, is this the one you guys were talking about?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. I didn't know anything about the game. I didn't know the person was trans or anything, so that had nothing to do with my opinion on the game.
No, facts.
Yeah,
I didn't know anything about that.
About that.
Second, I was gonna say,
I didn't either.
Are we talking about the same game?
I said I am reading an article that says that. So
the fact that the person is trans is such an unnecessary fact, to be honest. It's like fake deep, like you said. Like,
I didn't know that, but when I watched the trailer, I was like, I don't want to play Life is Strange. And there's an audience for these type of games, and they love them.
I like Life is Strange. Life is Strange, the first one I played, really cool.
That was just not my style of games. And I like I said, I know there's an audience for them. I'm actually glad these games came back because they were lost in time to like the Sega CD era and all that other shit like that. But it's just not me. Like, I don't want a life lesson. Like, I have to deal with life every day. I want to cut people in half and shit. Just fake
game.
Fake game.
I like that. That's a good description of this. Yeah, yeah, because that's what they make. You know, because Life is Strange 1 and 2 were similar, right? They're about like real life, even though there's some like fantastical elements to it. Because I know the main character has like powers in Life is Strange or whatever. But,
yeah.
They're living in the real world though, and like going through things in the real world like a real person would. So I don't know. Like, I don't know. The game, like they're probably good. I probably would like them if I played them, but it's
narrative adventure. That's what they're called. Narrative adventure games. Okay. I'm sorry.
I'm so put off by the episodic release like schedule for them that I forget about them by the time they're out. You know, that they're like fully done. I forget about it and I don't care anymore because the marketing push for the first episode is always like 10 times higher than the subsequent ones. So by the time you get to the last one, like no one's even talking about the damn game anymore.
Because I think what happens is like it's like a TV series. Like you get hooked. A lot of people probably get hooked to the story and they invest in it and then they want to play it and they just keep playing it. And you got your core audience. If you get 500,000 people to download the game, then you made your money. You probably made your money back already. So
yeah, fair enough. All right, next thing they showed was Ori and the Will of the Wisps. Devs came out and said they're doing an upgrade patch for the game for Xbox Series X and it did look significantly
I
better.
am not gonna lie. This game, this trailer made me wanna. I think I'm gonna download and play this game because
This game looks phenomenal.
Yeah,
like,
it does. And I heard it was like a Metroidvania style game, so I've been looking for a good one. I might buy this game.
Yeah. After that, they Obsidian came out and showed an expansion for the Outer Worlds called Peril on Gorgon. It looks like it's taking place kind of in its own setting on like an asteroid of some sort. So, you know,
I thought this was Starfield.
Okay, so here's my question.
Yeah.
Here's my question.
Yep.
Because Obsidian is now Microsoft Studio, are they now from this time forward making Microsoft exclusives, or stuff that is coming out for the Outer Worlds is still going to be for every
This will be on
console?
all platforms that Outer Worlds was on.
Okay.
I would guarantee that. That would be ridiculously stupid of them to do.
Okay, but then so their next project is going to be Xbox exclusive?
Yes, that's my assumption. I even think Grounded might be.
Okay.
I'm not sure about that because they showed Grounded after this and they gave it a date. It's coming out on the 28th.
And I'm not impressed by that game at all.
Let's get back to Outer Worlds first.
Yeah.
Before you talk about that.
Well, I just saw the Outer Worlds on sale on the PlayStation Store, and it's $30. And I feel mad because I bought it on the Switch again for $60. But again, it's just not playable. And I know it's a good game. I know in my soul and my spirit that it's a good game.
You know what's funny about this? You know what's funny about this? If you had bought it physical, you could have took it back.
or sold it. Yeah, you could have sold it.
You could have sold it for at least got like $30 back. Sold it for like half off somewhere.
Yeah, and that would have paid for the PS4 version on sale.
You hate to see it.
There you go. There you go. We win.
Okay, I will take that L. But so the Outer Worlds. Okay, I'm really excited about that. I'm gonna rebuy it. Cause see, my thing was, I was like, I hate when it's supposed to be, you know, like I might accept Microsoft exclusive conference or Sony exclusive conference, and they're showing third-party games. I like that. Like, your conference should be strictly about what you're doing, or like. So that's why I was like, didn't the Outer Worlds come out for everything? Like, so going forward, I expect for Obsidian's games to be on Xbox platform. And PC too, but
I think they're gonna leave it up to the developers themselves. Like I'm pretty sure they are gonna want like, hey, you guys gotta meet a quota for your exclusives or whatever. But I'm pretty sure like the other projects, like you can put on anything you want to, as long as you got one for us. You know what I'm saying?
It may depend on the project. Like Grounded would make sense to release on all platforms, because that game is gonna need as many players as it can get. You know, because they showed that after they showed this Outer Worlds DLC and. I'm gonna be honest, like the game like kind of looks cool, but I don't want this out of Obsidian. I don't know why they're making this game. Like I can't.
That's what I'm talking about. Like it's like they're utilizing their studios in weird ways. Like and maybe people are going to Microsoft and they're just like, hey, blank check, you got it, bro. Do what you want to do, and they're like, yeah. But it's
I don't think that's it. I think this was they started development on this, I think, before Microsoft acquired them. That's my feeling. Because they acquired them last year. It's not been that long since they acquired Obsidian. So
well, it makes sense though to make a survival game for the children.
Yeah.
So I mean, but
you're Xbox though. You're not Nintendo. Like
I mean, there are a lot of kids who play Xbox. Justin, there are a lot of kids.
I'll take your word for it.
So I mean, like my little cousins, they have Xboxes and shit like that. I mean, they just don't play Switch. A lot of them don't even play the Switch. Believe it or not, a lot of people our age are like Switch heavy and buying these kiddie games on the Switch. So it's like a lot of kids are playing other games. Like a lot of people are playing Minecraft, like a lot of kids, and they bought Xbox for the Minecraft or whatever. So this will make sense for them to have Grounded.
A lot of my adult friends play Minecraft. I play Minecraft.
Yeah, exactly. So
everybody plays Minecraft.
Yeah,
it sold like 100 million copies. It's fucking stupid.
Oh my god, what do you have against Minecraft?
I just need it to go away. It's like GTA 5. Like I've had enough of it. Like these games have been in the top 10 selling list literally for 8 years in a row now. Like enough. Like video game industry, let's
It's a
dethrone
game
these
that
games.
everybody must have.
Except
And
for
they
me.
keep coming up with new Minecraft games.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, for me, yeah, like I said, I think Grounded actually does look fun. I might check it out because I think it's coming in early access, so you're not gonna have to pay into it at first.
Okay, that's cool.
So yeah, now that I think about it, actually, they said it's coming to early access on PC and it's coming to Xbox's version of early access as well. So it's going to be on those two. It's not going to be on anything else.
Okay.
Right now. So yeah, it looks cool. Looks kind of cool. I just don't know what it's like like they said, it's a survival game, but they want there to be like story in it, like an Obsidian story in it. I'm like, what the hell? Like, how are you going to pull that off? Like, it's like a multiplayer game. So I don't know, man. So after that, they showed one more game though. So Obsidian's got 3 different teams going apparently, which is kind of crazy to me. I didn't think they were capable of this. Like, I didn't think they were this big. Maybe they've hired up since Microsoft bought them. That's very possible. But the third game they showed is much more up their alley. It's called Avowed, and it is going to be a first-person fantasy RPG set in the Pillars of Eternity universe. There was no gameplay. It was simply a small, short cinematic trailer. But
You know what I thought that was? I
Yeah.
thought it was gonna be a new Dragon Age.
I thought it was Skyrim or
I thought it
Elder
was Dragon
Scrolls.
Age because when the flag came down, the emblem, it looked like the emblem of Chantry and Dragon Age. So I thought it was gonna be a Dragon Age.
Well,
game.
this is their second shot across the bow at Bethesda. They're taking their shots at Bethesda. Like, they're literally trying to dethrone Bethesda with this game. Like, because they already did it with Outer Worlds, right? That was their like Fallout, kind of game. And now they're making their Skyrim or their Elder Scrolls game. That's literally what they're doing. Like, I don't know any other way to say it. Like,
No, you're right. That's a lot of people tweeted that too. They're like, man, they already took Fallout. Now they're coming for Elder Scrolls. And this one was like, well, the only competition they have is another remake of fucking Skyrim.
Yeah, because Elder Scrolls 6 isn't coming out for the next 7 years. So
wait, guys, we're not being fair. They got Blades out. Come on, guys.
Oh God.
I have that game. I've never once opened it.
Yeah, don't. Do yourself a favor and don't. It's a microtransaction ridden garbage pile, so don't waste your time. Yeah, so I don't know. Did this excite you though? Like
Once again, it's the same thing. They didn't show really any gameplay.
No gameplay, right?
And I don't know if that was in-game footage or if that was just a trailer. So it's like, I don't know. I mean, I'm excited for it, but I just don't know. You know what I'm saying?
You know me, I get suckered in by the trailer, and I loved it. I loved it, and I was like, "That's a game that I would play." And yeah, so I was excited.
I really like the Pillars of Eternity IP. I think it's actually a really great fantasy universe. The thing that disappointed me here is they didn't give us any indication of like the setting within that universe. Like, obviously, it's like underground, but what is the story? Like, we have no idea. They didn't really show anything. So I'm excited, but like, what am I in for?
Yeah, exactly.
I just feel like it was a really good game, but it wasn't a game that made me say I gotta get a Series X for.
What?
So
about?
Oh, this one?
Yes.
Okay.
So it wasn't a game. So it was like right below where I felt, but I still was excited for the game.
Fair enough. Well, I expect we're not going to get this game for 2 or 3 years. So that's kind of my expectation with that. But all right. After that, they showed, this is where I kind of started tuning out a little bit. Like, I kind of fell asleep at this part. This one was like some weird game called As Dusk Falls.
I did see that.
It's a narrative-driven game.
Oh my god, that's a fake deep game.
Yeah, this is the second fake deep game that you're talking about. I really don't have anything to say about this one. Like I said,
they didn't show anything, so we don't have any. I don't have any opinion on it.
I tuned out.
They
I was
literally
like,
didn't show anything.
I was on my second monitor, like browsing Reddit, during this. What
about you, Tiara? Did you get anything out of this?
It wasn't a game that looked like I would play. I remember that. I can't even honestly remember what it was. I just remember telling myself that game that you're gonna play. So
this is such a bad look for us.
Yeah.
None of us paid attention to this one.
I know. I did, but I didn't. I did and pay attention, and then I remember the graphics, right? But
yeah, it was like a graphic novel type deal, but it was
what
like
I do like for Microsoft and Xbox, what makes Xbox me play my Xbox a lot, well, when I did, is the indie games, So that's what Xbox does really well. Sometimes I get really irritated every game when it's an indie game, and then PlayStation is pushing out these big titles for free games. But I've played a lot of really, really good indie games like that I would have never bought if it wasn't free.
So give this game a shot when it comes out.
No, it's going to be in the Game Pass, so I will. Okay. Right. So I will, as long as I don't have to pay for it. Like, that's the key.
Are you going to play any game if it's on Game Pass?
Yes. I would give any game a chance.
Montrell, I think we have a Microsoft shill on our podcast, man.
Any game.
I mean, this is a good thing, frankly, because I'm not really in the Xbox ecosystem, so we need this viewpoint. I like it. This is great. This is awesome. All right. After that, Double Fine came out and showed Psychonauts 2. I
was actually impressed by it.
I mean, it looks cool, but it's not a game for me. Like, I'm not gonna play this kind of game probably. But
I know this game has a huge cult following, so I know a lot of people those particular people were like ecstatic for this game. So
yeah,
I'm glad that the creator came back and was like, yeah, we're gonna do it again. So it looked impressive to me though from a platforming perspective. If I do get Game Pass, I will download it and play it because Psychonauts always interest me. I just never really got into the franchise, unfortunately. I was kind of late to the fold for that.
Yeah. Tiara, did this move the needle for you?
Like I said, I'm trying everything. It's on Game Pass.
It's on Game Pass.
That
Damn
is
right,
my
it's on Game Pass.
That is my stance. It is on Game Pass.
You know what else is on Game Pass? You know what else is on Game Pass? Destiny 2. That's what they showed next.
Destiny 2 is free. I bought it, I think.
Yeah, but the thing they announced here is that the new expansion that's coming out in November, Beyond Light, is going to be day one on Game Pass.
So I also looked up the article for this too as well, and all the past DLC is also going to be free if you have
the
Game
whole
Pass.
Game. Literally, Destiny 2, the entire game is going to be on Game Pass.
How sick are you that when you bought Destiny 2 when it first came out, when you bought the expansions when they first came out at their full price? Now it's gonna all be free.
You gotta. I mean, that's the current. That's how these games are, though. You got to be current. Like if you decided to wait 3 years, you got all this shit for free. But if you want to be up to date and play Destiny, like Destiny 2, then I mean, now for Destiny players, like this one was crazy to me. I can't believe they got this game on Game Pass. Like, this is nuts. This is really going to drive subscriptions to me. Like,
I'm actually
huge. If you have an Xbox or a PC and you play Destiny, what do you can just buy Game Pass? Like, what are you doing?
I was just going to say that. Like, I actually tweeted that, like, is this game worth getting back into? And a lot of people DM'd me saying, yeah. So I might get Game Pass just for this game and just download all the DLC. Because I wanted to play on the Xbox instead of PS4 because my PS4 friends don't play this game anymore. I have a lot of Xbox friends who still play Destiny. So I might just do that. Like, just play it on the PS or the Xbox One.
Yeah.
Because the game, actually, from what they showed, I didn't even know that was Destiny. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
They've taken the game an interesting place from what I understand.
Yeah. So I'm very impressed by it. What I'm also impressed by is how they broke the bad blood between Microsoft and Bungie.
Well, Bungie got to see the other side, man, of what it's like to work with a third-party publisher, like one that's not affiliated with hardware, and it was a nightmare. So Microsoft, and particularly this version of Microsoft, probably a lot more appealing to Bungie than
they were dealing with the
10 years ago. So
the Don Matrick version of Microsoft, and that probably wasn't the best era. That wasn't the best era for Microsoft.
Now let's not get ahead of ourselves. They're not buying Bungie again.
Yeah, it's just a partnership. But like I said, it's good to see that bad blood between them is folding. It's almost like seeing Kojima go back and work with Konami.
Yeah, like,
But-
dude, Bungie has fucking zero reason to let themselves get acquired by anybody, let alone Microsoft.
Oh yeah,
So,
Destiny
zero
alone
reason.
is fucking carrying them. Like they don't need anybody
Exactly.
anymore.
They don't need anybody. So if they get acquired by somebody, I would be very, very, very surprised. It would literally come down to the owner of the company basically deciding he wants to get a payday. Like that would be it. So, so yeah, Destiny 2 on Game Pass, man. I still think that's crazy. That's probably the craziest announcement actually in this whole thing, and to me, like, because yeah, that's a big get. So after that, they showed Stalker 2, a trailer for Stalker 2, which is a horror-ish game. This is, like I said, this is the part where I was like kind of like conking out a little bit. This game doesn't interest me, so I didn't really see much about it. Do you guys care about this one at all?
What, Stalker?
Yeah, Stalker 2.
I don't remember it, to be honest.
I never played Stalker 1. I heard about Stalker 1. I just never played it. I know it's like one of those cult PC, if you're on 4chan V and they like, oh my God, Stalker's like the best game ever type deal. Like that's what Stalker is to me. Because that's the only place I literally ever heard Stalker is from 4chan V. So yeah, I'm kind of excited. I mean, I don't know what to say. Like, I don't.
It's on Game Pass. Tiara's playing it.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, that is the rule. That is the deal that I made with Microsoft.
All right, awesome. After that, they showed a Warhammer 40K game. It was just a cinematic trailer, no gameplay. Once again, Warhammer 40K Darktide, which is going to be a co-op. What it looks like basically is a sci-fi version of Vermintide. Essentially, that's
that game was.
That's my impression of it. And it yeah, because it's they showed like a 4-person squad going into a place and it's filled with like hordes of enemies, and but the thing is, this will probably be more fun than Vermintide was because this is like a shooter. Like this is going to be a shooter, so there will at least be like that element to it. Vermintide 2 just didn't. I didn't find them fun. So that's
hey man, our friends love that game.
They were really not happy with me that I was not into it. I definitely upset them. They were like, why don't you?
It's kind of go against the grain,
Yeah.
No, it wasn't. Tiara wasn't fun. Like I played it with them. It wasn't fun. Like
it's
I like
a mindless hack and slash, first person hack and slash game. It has like no depth. Like there's a little bit of leveling and that's it. It's like the game's.
I actually like games that have like the little horde mode style gameplay elements to them, because if you do it really well, it can be very cool. Like it was one game I can't remember now, but that did it really well. I guess Mass Effect 3, even though that wasn't the main game, but Mass Effect 3 had that horde style element or horde style gameplay, but you can have different builds to do different things and handle different types of enemies, and it was really cool, and really it had like a whole subreddit for it and a whole community for it. It was really big. So I don't mind those type of games. It's just when I played Vermintide, I was like, ooh.
It just wasn't very deep.
Yeah.
It didn't feel very deep. It was it felt like a really shallow game, like to me. So, yeah, well, whatever. If our friends are listening to this podcast, I'm going to get a text, but they're not. So
let's console Tiara. It's okay, Tiara.
Well, Tiara, you're going to play this because, I mean, it's on Game Pass. So, I guess, maybe we'll be obligated to play it with you,
I didn't
is this one not making the cut?
No, I just didn't really realize how many games were on Game Pass.
I'm telling you, like you're gonna be busy if you're playing everything on Game Pass.
I know. It's like, what have I done? What have I done? What have I agreed to?
Yeah, you've dug yourself a hole. So
yeah, I know. I am committed.
Fair enough. Hey, I have respect for that. I respect that. You're keeping your word. So after this, there was a trailer for Tetris Effect Connected, which I'm not sure is a new game, because Tetris Effect is a game that came out like a couple of years ago.
Oh, really?
But I don't know if this is a sequel necessarily. It might be. It seems like there might be some form of multiplayer with it that I don't think the original game had. So, I mean, it's another Tetris game. I've heard that this is like one of the best Tetris games ever made, but it's a Tetris game. If you don't like Tetris, you're not going to like this game. So
yeah, a lot of people on my timeline were super upset about this.
Really?
They were like,
Why?
no, they were like, because they were
No,
upset.
people were really upset. But see, I might have thought that this Tetris game was kind of weird if I didn't play Tetris 9, which is a very intense Tetris game, and it's super fun.
Yeah.
So,
but they were upset
play...
at Tetris. They weren't upset at Tetris. They were upset at like this is one of the only games that had actual gameplay, and they were pissed off about it.
No, that's true.
In the showcase. So they weren't mad at this game. They were mad at Microsoft.
Yeah, this game just happened to
be
of
all the games to show gameplay for.
The one you don't need to show gameplay for
is Tetris.
We all know what Tetris is.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, okay. That's funny. That's actually hilarious. Well, this will be on Game Pass too. So I'll be looking forward to your review, Tiara. After that was a weird looking sci-fi game called The Gunk. I don't know. It looks like a platform game of some sort, like a 3D platform game, kind of an adventure-ish game of some sort. I didn't really take much out of this trailer.
Yeah, they showed gameplay, but it was like a cinematic gameplay. If that makes any sense. Like,
yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, it wasn't like in-game gameplay.
Hey, but you know what? Shouts out to having a female black protagonist. I dig it.
Yes.
There were a few of these games had like black female protagonists. Like I think it was like 3 or 4 of them, right?
Yeah, so it was about 3 of them.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, shout out to that. After that, this one. Okay, so this one definitely interested me. It's called The Medium. And it looks like a story-driven game of some sort, but it is basically the character can see into the past and see like things that happen, events that happened in a location, and basically she's walking through the location in the future, and then she's like, there's the game is split though, and you can see the other character from the past going through the same location.
That's fucking
but it
cool.
looks completely different.
Yeah.
And this is a really fucking cool concept to me.
That's cool.
Because I think you're controlling both characters at the same time.
Yeah, you are.
You are. I don't know how it's going to like pan out, but that was the game that made me say I'm going to get a Series X for that game.
Yeah.
It reminded me of, I don't know if any of you saw the movie Constantine.
Yeah, I saw that movie. Yeah.
Right? And you remember how like the scenes where he would go into hell?
Yeah.
And then he would come back. That's what it kind of reminded me of, because Constantine had a game that was really good too. It was a PS2 game.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of like that. But this is like, but in that game, you was either in hell or you wasn't. This game is kind of like, both at the same time. Like, I was like, wow, I have to play that game. Like, that was literally the game that blew my mind.
Yeah, this was really cool.
I have to play this game.
Well, it'll be on Game Pass, so you've got it.
Yes.
Yeah, this game reminded me of.
I think it had like a 2021 launch.
No, it's this year. It's supposed to be coming later this year. So
okay.
I think it might be a launch game potentially.
Yeah, this game gave me Silent Hill vibes.
Yeah.
Some people were saying that. I never played Silent Hill, but I couldn't say.
Yeah, some of the scenes in the past or whatever were gnarly, dude. Like it was pretty dark looking. So.
Oh my god, it looked awesome.
So yeah, that one's cool.
It looked like some real effort, some real elbow grease was put into that game.
I just think it's unique. Like we've never seen a game really try to do that before.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm sure there's examples. I actually know there's examples. I can't think of the game off the top of my head, but I know I've played a game like this where you're like controlling 2 characters at once, like at the same time. But not in this way though, where you're like telling a story that way. It was more of a gameplay thing, and this seems like it's more of like a story-driven thing where it's like you're seeing kind of some contrast between these 2 environments. And I find that really appealing. So I think this one was definitely a hit, in my opinion. So after this, okay, dude, Montrell, I have to ask you about this one. So they showed what ended up being Phantasy Star Online 2.
I thought it was going to be 3.
New Genesis. And okay, I had 2 thoughts to go through my mind. One was Phantasy Star 3 Online 3. I did think that for a second, but I also thought, is this like Phantasy Star Universe like remake or something like that? because that was an Xbox exclusive back in the day, right?
Yeah.
So that was the other one. That was the other thing that
Oh, that would have been cool. I didn't even think about that, Justin. I'm so glad I didn't think about that because I would have fucking disappointed myself.
I was so pissed when it was like it's Phantasy Star Online 2. I was wrong in both ways. Like, could I be more disappointed? Because it's not clear what this is. It looks like basically an overhaul of Phantasy Star Online 2.
We said that shit, and I'm so glad they're doing it.
I agree with you because, dude, I was like watching this and I'm like, this looks like Phantasy Star. This definitely looks like Phantasy Star. This looks like a modern video game, though. Like, it looks like you're playing Monster Hunter, like Phantasy Star version of Monster Hunter. That's kind of what it looked like, and that shit looked pretty dope to me. So I'm kind of excited about this because. Yeah, because you tried Phantasy Star Online 2 when it came out a couple months ago, and we had similar thoughts on it. The game's janky. It's old, dude. It's an old game. It's from 2012. And it plays that way. It looks that way. And to bring this up to modern standards with what we're capable of now, I mean, that's really exciting. So there are questions around this, like if you play Phantasy Star Online 2, will you be able to bring your character into it? Is the game going to include all the current content? Is it like a fresh start for the game? Who knows? They didn't say anything.
I kind of hope it is a fresh start. I mean, I know a lot of players have invested into a Phantasy Star universe or Phantasy Star Online 2 universe. Yeah. I just couldn't get into it. Like you said, because it was just so dated. Like I said, this was like 2012. I would be like, oh my god, this shit is like the best game ever. But it's not 2012, it's 2020, and I played way better games, action games than that. And when they showed this, I was like, it didn't look like Phantasy Star 2 Online, like the one I played. I'm like, this has to be a totally new Phantasy Star, because I knew it was Phantasy Star, but I just didn't know what Phantasy Star was.
The character aesthetic just was like the guy that jumped off the cliff or whatever. I was like, oh, it's Phantasy Star. Okay, like you just know what the characters look like in Phantasy Star. Like,
what could have made an argument that it could have been Xenoblade Chronicles X?
Well, no, actually, that's not true. It could have been Star Ocean. That's the other one I thought of.
Yeah, that's true.
But there's no way Square would have shown a Star Ocean game here, and also there's no way they would have shown a Star Ocean game anywhere because that franchise is basically dead at this point. So, my brain didn't even consider that for half a second. It was Phantasy Star straight up. And obviously couldn't have been Xenoblade.
Yeah, obviously. I just say it look. I'm like, wow, this kind of looks like the character looked like Xenoblade Chronicles X, but
X, right? Yeah,
but I was like, it's definitely Phantasy Star.
Yeah.
But yeah,
there's 3 franchises that have this aesthetic, and those are the 3.
And I was excited for it because I'm like, I thought it was going to be 3, but since they're doing like an expansion type deal or whatever, they're rehauling the game. It definitely needs a rehaul, and I'm glad they're doing this. It's like they listened to the fucking podcast, but I know they didn't. But it's like
I know. This
well, we don't know that they didn't.
No, but this has been in development for a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, they dated it for 2021. No, like specific date, but that's the year they put on it. So, it'll be out sometime next year. And I mean, I'm gonna be hard pressed not to check this out. Like,
yeah, I'm definitely gonna check it out.
I think I'm gonna be checking it out, man, and we'll co-op it together, dude. Like,
yeah,
let's do it. That'll be fun. So, Tiara, what about you? Does this kind of game interest you? I know you don't play multiplayer very much, so
but if I wanted to play multiplayer, nobody asked to co-op with me. You are just like, oh, well.
I literally just asked you, does this interest you? And then I was going to lead into, you can play with us. You're not giving me the chance. You're just accusing me. Bullshit.
Now.
You know what? No, fuck this. Fuck this. It's on Game Pass. You're obligated to play it. It's on Game Pass, and you're obligated to play it.
We can co-op together.
You're playing it with us.
Wow.
You're playing it with us because it's on Game Pass. I don't give a shit. So you're done.
I was gonna play it.
You're in.
I was still kind of hurt that I just didn't get the
he was going to ask you.
invite. And how you know, Montrell?
Because he knows me. He knows how I host. He knows the way I like the leading questions I ask. Like,
For a minute there, though. Obviously, I'm playing devil's advocate on both sides. So for a minute there, I thought you were gonna leave out and just go to the next subject, but
no, dude, come on. Oh my god! Fuck you guys.
Oh man.
man.
This is hilarious.
I mean, it doesn't matter. Tiara already said she's playing every game on Gamepass. So
yes,
she'll
I've
be
already
playing
made that
anyways,
commitment.
So yeah, me and Montrell party up, and then you'll message us, and we'll pretend we didn't see the message.
Wow.
I didn't say that. He did. You gotta get on him because I didn't say that.
And then I'll take it all out of Montrell.
Yeah, perfect. That's exactly how it should go. I mean, I'm kidding. Okay, if you guys want to play this game, I'm fucking
Montrell
down.
would be your whipping boy.
I'm fucking down to play this game. Okay, like that gets me excited. So, all right, we got 2 more to go here. One was Crossfire X. This was a shooter, and it looked like a multiplayer shooter of some sort, potentially.
So it is a multiplayer shooter. They had a beta out last week for the game. The game is essentially across. They got 2 multiplayer modes. When I played the beta, they had a mode that's like Counter-Strike, and then there's a mode that's like Call of Duty. Mm-hmm. I wasn't impressed by it though when I played it. The game is clearly
until it was a multiplayer game. I'm like, this looks like a dope game. Like it could be cool, but then it's like multiplayer. Oh, well.
Yeah, and the game is clearly designed for the Xbox One X or the Xbox Series X because it looks like shit on the Xbox One. It runs at 60 frames, but it looks like complete shit on the Xbox One. So, yeah, I wasn't too impressed by it though. But it may come out. I may play it when it comes out on the Xbox Series X. Because like I said, I've been looking for like a first person shooter to stream, and if this gets like really popular and big, I'm going to stream. I'm going to be the first person to stream it, so I can be that main guy for that game. Like, hey man, you watched Trail? You watched Trail play Crossfire X? Like they do. Doc.
Is that what nerds sound like to you?
No, like
I was gonna say.
I'm kind of offended right now. No, those are the internet trolls. He's making fun of the internet trolls. That's how they sound. My trolls playing Crossfire X. Fucking that.
What is he? The fucking Waluigi?
Waluigi. Oh no. Oh, we're derailed, man.
We're fucking sleepy as shit.
Man.
We're tired
as
fuck.
It's been a long week, man. It's been a long fucking week. Oh man. Well, yeah, Waluigi number 1.
Oh my god. My friend is in love with that character. He wants that character.
I fucking love Waluigi.
He wants that character to have its own video game and everything. I just don't understand why.
Wario gets one.
Because Wario is worth it.
Dude, Waluigi's worth it too.
No, he's not. He's a lackey. Stay in his place.
You're a fucking lackey.
He's a wannabe Luigi who's never going to be Luigi. So, like...
I want to be Mario.
Wario's worth it, though. He gets money. He has his own castle. Have you played Wario's World, son? That man get money. He got his own castle.
He's like Bowser. He's like Bizarro Bowser.
Yeah, man.
You remember Super Mario RPG? Did you guys ever play that game on the Super NES?
Yeah, I played it.
You remember fucking Booster? The guy who had like a tower? I always thought that was Wario until they said his name. I was like, what the fuck? Why isn't this Wario? Like what the fuck? Like, who is this guy?
You remember the fucking Mario Super Mario Land on the Game Boy? I thought that was I thought that was fucking Peach. Even though he said "Oh Daisy," I thought he was just saying like "Oh Daisy," like I don't know. Yeah. And then there was like, no, it's an actual character named Daisy. It's another princess. I'm like, who the fuck is this motherfucker? I've never heard of her before. It's like until I started playing Mario Tennis. I'm like, who the fuck is that's Daisy? Like, oh, okay.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Booster.
Yeah. Did you look him up? Did you look a picture up? He's like a knockoff Wario. Like,
why is he not Wario?
Yeah. I couldn't understand.
Wario always looks so angry.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's like Bowser's like in your party in that game, fighting with you, and it's like it's just weird that like Wario just got left out, but they made a character that looked exactly like him.
Wow, he does look like a great value Wario.
I will say that level in that game is dope though. Like the music is awesome, and it's just like a great like platforming level in that game. So yeah. All right, we got one more game to talk about. It was a we've got one more thing moment for Microsoft.
World exclusive.
And it lived up to the billing though. You only do the one more thing if it's something that's really gonna get the internet hyped, and this was truly that thing for Microsoft. And it was Fable. It was a short trailer, cinematic, no gameplay once again. But they showed like a fairy flying around, and she looked all cute and everything, and she was flying around. Everything was wonderful.
And she got eaten by
a frog. Yeah,
yeah, that's what they do in Fable. That's like the running joke. I mean, they always have something really cute in fantasy, and then they just whop it down. So
and
I thought that was pretty cool.
I forgot that trope from Fable, so I was kind of taken aback. I was like, "Oh shit! Oh no!" Like,
so as I was watching the trailer, I was like, "Oh wow, this is a new like RPG," and then they announced that it was Fable. I was like, "Wow."
Well, I told you guys. I called this. I knew we were getting this. I fucking knew it. I don't know. It just felt like it was happening. The rumors were coalescing, and it just felt like it was time.
Somebody tweeted. If I can't get the STDs, they can keep it. And I felt that because that was a staple part of Fable. Being able to have a bunch of sexual partners and a bunch of STDs.
Well, that's an important point about this game. Obviously, the company that made the Fable games, Lionhead, is long closed. So this is being made by Playground Games, which I have no idea who this studio is.
So I read a tweet. Somebody tweeted me and said that these are like veterans. New. Yeah, these are veterans though from like Rockstar and other game companies that are coming to make this game.
It's like a power team.
Yeah, it's like a power team that they pulled together to make this game. Or the studio rather, and this studio is making this game. Which interesting though is they didn't say Fable 4, so a lot of people
said
Fable. So a lot of people were speculating that this may be either a reboot or a remake of the first game, like a complete reboot or remake.
Yeah.
Which I don't mind, but the first game is iconic in my opinion. Like that's like the best one.
I mean, 2 is pretty iconic as well, though.
Yeah, 2 is pretty good.
3 is where the wheels came off.
Yeah.
I admittedly didn't play 3, but that's
3 was trying to do some interesting things with the combat, but yeah, like it wasn't as in depth as it was in Fable 2. The RPG mechanics they kind of took those out.
But 2, dude, like I played 2, I never beat it, but I played it for probably 20, 30 hours, and I was like, damn, this game's fucking like really weird. Like dude, it's unlike any other RPG I've played, like a Western style RPG. It is its own thing. Like Fable is very unique within that space. And that's why this excites me, because I'm probably never gonna go back and play those games. But dude, if this game is good, I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna play this game. So this was definitely the one that like obviously no gameplay, so I was disappointed in that again, and obviously no release window either. We're not getting this one for a while, I assume.
Yeah, probably not another 2 years.
2 or 3 years. But the fact that it's coming though, this is a big one. This is a big one.
They cannot cancel this, because the last Fable title they canceled it.
Yep, I'm 100% with you, dude. Yeah, this game has to come
Fable.
out.
Yeah, they did the Fable franchise so bad, especially when they turned it into a Connect game, and then they tried to make it like a 4v. I was actually looking for that one game where you can put the heroes versus the villains type deal. Like the player was the villain, he made the dungeon, and then the other players had to go through that dungeon as the Fable heroes. I thought that was gonna be a pretty cool concept, but they scrapped that. So they can't do that to this franchise. They can't. Everyone, I know PlayStation diehards who are like, yo, if Fable comes back, I will buy an Xbox just for Fable.
Yeah.
that's
So
definitely
that's the reach of this franchise.
Yeah. So they can't cancel it, and I think since Phil Spencer's at the head, they won't cancel it. But
they would sooner restart the project than cancel it, I think.
Yeah. I can definitely see them restarting the project
if they needed to. Hopefully they don't, but
I just hope they're able to capture the essence of Fable, even though like the key creator, was his name Peter something, was like
Peter Molyneux.
Yeah, he was like a I don't want to call him a sham artist, but
yeah,
he was kind of a sham, but his vision was clear with the Fable franchise as far as wanting to make something different. He definitely did that with Fable. I hope they keep it in the same spirit of that. I don't want it to become another generic fantasy RPG.
Can you play Fable 1 and 2 on Xbox One X?
Yeah, they remade the entire, not remade, but they remastered the entire thing. You can play it on PC.
Oh, on PC as well?
Yeah.
Okay. I might fuck with this, because I'm thinking about Fable 2, and I played it a long time ago. It was like 2012 or something like that. It was really late in last gen, and I was into it, but it just didn't like pull me at the time. But like having another 8 years has happened since I think about Fable 2, and I'm like, there really is not a game like it, you know?
Well, because
you
Fable,
can, like, you can buy like fucking property and you know, like hire NPCs to do shit for you, and it's like a really weird game.
Like Tiara say, you can get an STD if you don't use a condom.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's pretty awesome.
I like Fable because it puts the
no other game has done that since.
Yeah, it puts the medieval tropes on this head.
Yeah, because they definitely wasn't using condoms.
Even like Fable 1, like it was more on a serious note than Fable 2. It still put like medieval tropes on this head, and that's why I liked it so much. And even Fable 3 did that as well, where there was this pending death coming, but you had to either you can manage it or you can like, you know, live it up until everyone dies. And I thought that concept was actually pretty cool too. So I really like Fable for what they do with the actual theme of fantasy and how they turn those tropes on their heads.
Yeah. Well,
and the combat's never bad. So
yeah. Well, so I guess let's do some closing thoughts. What did you guys think overall of this showcase? Was it what you were expecting? Was it good?
I will say, after talking about it and getting all my thoughts out, I gave it a 6 out of 10 on my Twitter. I will give it like a 7. It wasn't bad, but I would love to see more gameplay. Like, I just wanted to see more gameplay. And it didn't turn me all the way off of the Series X. I'm still going to get the Series X. But I'm not going to be rushing to get it like I am the PS4 5 rather. I'm not going to be rushing to get it like that.
Tiara?
Well, as I said last week, you know, my thoughts for Microsoft were like in the gutter. So for me, it was like spectacular.
Mm-hmm.
So I gave it I feel like I gave it like an 8.5 out of 10. I thought it was really good. I thought again, the goal was for them to show a game that was going to get me to buy the Series X. And I feel like they did that and beyond. So
yeah.
I feel like they accomplished the mission. So I give it an 8.5.
Yeah. Well, I said a couple weeks ago when they announced this that this was their moment to really, they needed to hit with this. And I think they succeeded in some ways and failed in others, right? I think they started strong and they ended really strong. And there were a lot of good announcements within there, but then there were some really big head scratchers as well, you know, like Grounded and then the Everwild game, you know, stuff like that. And then a lot of the stuff in the very back half before the Fable announcement was like, huh? Like, what? Why are you showing all this shit in here? You know, it's like some of these games. So it definitely was hit or miss in certain parts, but I think overall this was a good showcase. I just think though there's one particular studio that I need to know what they're doing. You know, the initiative did not show up here, and this is like it's starting to frustrate me that we have no fucking clue what they're working on. And maybe I'm not giving them enough time. You know, the studio's only been around for I think 2 or 3 years, so that's not necessarily enough time to have a game ready to show. But especially if they're trying to make something on the level of like what Naughty Dog makes. But that's kind of what my expectation is becoming, is that this is Microsoft's like premier #1 studio, and they made this studio to be that, you know, and we need to see what the hell they're working on soon. You know, I don't think they can wait much longer, but they did say though at the end of this showcase that 6 studios didn't show their games at this, and that they are going to have another showcase at some point later in the year, potentially showing some of those games. So the initiative could be there, could show their stuff there. So I was a little disappointed in that, but hopefully we'll see something from them before the year is out. In terms of the console, I don't think I'm going to get it day one either. I never really was planning on it, but the fact that I can play these games on PC is...
I thought you said you wasn't going to get it in the first place.
I've been thinking about it. It roils around in my head. You know, I go back and forth. I vacillate on this a lot. You know, sometimes Xbox says something, I'm like, oh, that's cool, I'll get the Series X. And then they show certain games, I'm like, whatever, I can get this on PC. You know, so it depends. The likeliest thing is that I'm not going to get it because I have a high-end PC. If I can play their games on my high-end PC, I probably should just do that for like monetary reasons. You know, kind of stupid to spend a shitload of money on something like that. So yeah, I don't know. I thought it was pretty good. What do you guys think, though? Do you think this is enough really to move the needle back in their direction to kind of put them on par with PS5? Or
I think this will grab their hardcore fans.
Yeah.
But I still think like if they want to get their, this won't take PlayStation fans from PlayStation at all.
Yeah.
One thing I was disappointed in, they didn't show any kind of price point.
I forgot to mention that. Yeah.
I thought this would have been a really cool thing to do to force PlayStation's hand. Like, we showed our price point, now you have to show yours type deal. They didn't take the initiative on that, so I am disappointed in that. But getting back to the original question, swing gamers, I call them the swing gamers, like swing voters, the swing gamers. I still think they're going to go towards the PlayStation. I think they have to show a little bit more to get those swing gamers. Their core fan base, I think Halo was enough to get them back, and some of the other games shown. Gamepass alone for I don't want to call them swing gamers, but gamers who are like on a budget, like I think that's enough to get them. But for like that hardcore audience, I still think they're gonna go for PlayStation. Like people who have a high end PC, but they're still looking for like a companion console. I think they're still gonna go for like the PlayStation 5.
Fair enough. Tiara, what do you think?
I think that it has a fighting chance. I feel like before I would have said, like I said earlier in the podcast, I said that, I thought PS5 sales would like blow them out of the water, but now combine this with the Game Pass and the games that are coming out, I really feel like Xbox has a fighting chance in the console.
Yeah, I agree for sure. They're definitely not gonna lose just outright. I think price is gonna be a big part of this. I think this Lockhart rumor is going to be a big X factor for this, because I do think the Series X is gonna be more expensive than PS5.
You think so?
Whether that's $50 or $100, I think it will be. But the thing is, this is why the Lockhart would be extremely smart, because if it is more expensive, you're going to have an option underneath PlayStation 5 that's less expensive. So you're kind of pigeonholing them on both ends of the spectrum, right? You can get those high-end gamers who want like the highest fidelity possible, but then you can also get people who are on a budget, which puts PS5 in this like no man's land in the middle, right? So I think that would be a very compelling strategy for them. And I hope it's true, because I really think that will be the thing that kind of pushes them over the edge of competitiveness. More so than even any of these games that they showed, and even Game Pass, because price is really like, it is so important to how this plays out. The reason the PS4 destroyed the Xbox One X is because it was $100 cheaper, and it was just as powerful, and actually I think it was more powerful actually, and like Xbox just had a massive blunder with their pricing of the Xbox One, so they can't make that mistake again. They know they can't make that mistake again. If they're going to make it more expensive, it has to be worth it. There has to be a reason for it to be more expensive. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts right now. I think we have a lot we still don't know. Release date, prices of these things. There is a rumor going around that Sony might have a conference soon in the next couple weeks. We'll see about that, like another state of play. I believe that more before this aired. If they had shown price here, I believe that was true. Now that they didn't, I'm not sure, because I really don't think Sony wants to announce price first. Like they just do not. I really don't think they do. So we'll see about that. But so yeah, I didn't mention this during the episode as well. Destiny 2 expansion, Beyond Light, was delayed. It's coming out on November 10th. It was supposed to be coming in September. So that is now coming in November around the console launches. So you guys have anything else you want to talk about in relation to this Xbox showcase, or anything Xbox related?
Nope, that's pretty much it for me.
Yeah, that was pretty much it. I thought Microsoft did a good job. I was happy that it really felt like getting a 360 all over again, or the anticipation of getting a 360 over again, or even the anticipation of getting S1, but this console, they've been losing, but I feel like next gen, it makes me excited.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm really excited for next gen. Like I don't know. I'm probably overhyping it, but I just feel like we're gonna get games that we aren't expecting. You know, like we're gonna get different features that we're not expecting in games. You know, developers are gonna be able to do really interesting things, weird things that they can't do on the current gen because of the hardware limitations. So both of these boxes are exciting for that reason, for sure. So all right, well, I think we're going to call it there this week. So if you like this episode, please like the episode, review the episode, subscribe to the show on the feed that you're listening to it on. And if you could, please share it with your friends so with that we can grow the audience. If you'd like to interact with us on Twitter, you can do so at iTrap for the Hokage for Montrell. That's the number 4, not the word. Tiara is at Victorian Jedi. I am at Thundernet01, and the show is at The Player's Take. If you'd like to send us a question, you can do so on Twitter, or you can send us an email to theplayerstake01@gmail.com. That's it for us. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and we will see you on the next one. All right? Bye, guys.